My name is Lisa, and I'm an internal support coordinator with WEX FSM. And I wanted to welcome you guys to today's session of Solution Studios. And we're going to be working on building your price book today. So let's get started. Go down and pull up the other screen for you. So there's several things that are in play with the price book. So if you go to set up a price book and you haven't set up your warranties, you can't create like a system bundle and add the warranty to it. It's just kind of like your settings. If you don't have all of your settings completed, then when you go to a drop down or something on a job form or an appointment, what you're looking for isn't there. So there's a couple of things that you would need to have in place when you start your price book. And if you haven't, you can go back and kind of rework it. Sometimes you have to work backwards. And then you know system really well by the time you work it backwards. So under more applications, we've got price book and we've got down here, you may not have noticed that there's warranties. Oops, there's a couple more people coming in. Let me let them in. Hi, guys. We're just getting ready to get started here, so I'll go back and go over just a couple of things. You didn't miss much. So I was just telling everyone that when you start a price book, there are certain things that have to be in play, kind of like your settings. When you go into your settings, if there are items on your job forms where there's a drop down or something like that and there's nothing in it, it's because you haven't gone in and really gone through all your settings to make sure everything is there for you to use. And it's the same with Pricebook. So under more applications, you'll see Pricebook, and a lot of you may not have recognized that there's warranties in here. So if you come in and go to warranties, you'll see a screen that kind of looks like this. You may not have as many as we have in here because this is a test account and it can get a little bit ugly where everybody goes in and tests. But if you haven't added warranties in here, there are two kinds of warranties in our system. There's a manufacturer's warranty that your manufacturers will stand behind their equipment or their parts for so many months after they're installed or so many years if it's a system. And there's a contractor warranty. And the contractor warranty is what you offer to your customers. So everybody is in business and does it differently. So some people will, on a part, will give like 30 days. Some people give 90 days. Some people give a year. Some people on systems will give a year on their warranty for the install for the labor. And then the manufacturer will take care of all the parts and start thinking about all the systems, especially in HVAC. Um, they were up to like a 10-year warranty, except for I think like Mitsubishi was going up to a 12-year warranty, and some of the other ones may have as well. So you're going to want one of every kind of manufacturer or part warranty that you have in here so that when you go create your price book product, you can put the right warranty on there so that when you get to the job form and you do a service or sell and install, you hit the item and it's already on there for you. You don't have to type it every time. So if you come in and you hit new warranty, this can be a little bit confusing because it says manufacturer parts, but the contractor one is here as well. So depending on what you're creating, you would create a contractor warranty. You could name it. You could give it a length of time in days, months, or years, and you could add a description. Okay. Same with the manufacturer warranty. Name, number of years, description. If it's an extended warranty, you can add that on here as well. Now, our job forms, you can have multiple contractor warranties, but only one manufacturer warranty. And the contractor warranties that you add in here, you can change on the job forms. But the manufacturer warranty is applied to the item in the price book. So if I come back up here and I go to my price book, and I think I created some 2026 ones in here. Yes, I did. Okay. So if I come in here and I hit install, it'll give me a drop down so that I can see everything that's under this category in my price book, or I can click the number and see everything in that category in a list. So I'm just going to click details on one of these guys. And this is a heat strip. Okay. So when you set this up under additional details are where those warranties are, and that's where you would choose them. So if I added this item to a job form, to an invoice or a proposal, on the bottom, it's going to show up that it has a manufacturer warranty of 10 years. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to show you, because we're going to get into building these here in a second, but there's, like I said, there's certain things that need to be in play before you do this. Under more applications, price book, you're going to see, my mouse will stop jumping, pricing defaults. So pricing defaults are any discounts that you're going to give off of price book items in your price book. And this one is stationary. Our system was set up so maintenance plans would be the first thing offered as savings if they don't have a maintenance plan, and automatically take the savings off, the discount off if they have a plan. Okay. So a lot of people, 10%, depending on what you offer. When you set up your price book item, you can turn it on or off for this pricing discount. So let's say you had a spring special and you're going to do some kind of filter change out or something that you're going to offer people um, as a special service, and $99 is the best you can do on it. You can't give a discount on it. On that price book item, if they have a the, this turned on and it's $99 in your price book, and you add it to a job form and they have a maintenance plan, it's going to give them a 10% discount unless you turn it off on that price book item. So I'll show you how to do that as well so that you can know that, okay, this is something that I offer maybe on a diagnostic. Maybe you don't offer the people who have maintenance plans in your system anything off on the diagnostic. That $79 that you charge to get there is your true cost to get there. So you're not going to give them a discount on that. So on the line item, you can turn on and off the discount, and at the top of the job form, you can as well. You can override it. So I just wanted to let you know that this one is stationary. You can set any of these up. These are editable. You can name them. You can change the discount amount, and you can do an upsell. So if an after hours, you can make this a 25% increase on that product because you're there on overtime. So you can decrease it or you can increase it just by adding the pricing defaults here. And in our system, you need to make sure that you read anything that you see in these light yellow warnings. They don't kind of jump out and flash at you, but they are there and they do mean anything. So if you create your price book and then you come in here and set these, any changes made below to the pricing strategy default section will take effect when creating new products in the price book. Existing products in the price books will remain unchanged and need to be updated manually. So when you're creating a price book, if this isn't in play, when you create it or if you come in and change it, you're going to have to go back and manually update all of those items. Now, if you have a price book that's huge, and you want us to update this for you by support request, we can. But think about these pricing categories, because when you set up your price book, you set up categories. It's like a file folder for everything to live in. And you could come in here and you could create an extra top level category. You can create another child under this parent. You can rename them. But when you go in to click on these, there's an option to delete as well. But if there's anything in this folder, this category, you can't delete it. You have to either go in and delete the items or move them to a different category to be able to delete. But with these categories, you can't pick one part from here and one part from here and one part from here for them to do this in bulk. It would have to be the whole category. So if I knew that I wanted my pricing default because I created a new pricing default. Boy, this is really long list till you get down to here because a lot of test things in here. So let me go back in here. Okay. So if I go back in here, if I wanted to change everything in service, all my items in service that I added a new pricing default to turned on, I could reach out to customer support and say, I want all items in my price book category of service to be turned on for my new discount. And they can do that. But they can't go in and choose one from here, one from there, one from there because they write a script and the script can't choose it that way. So you would have to do those manually, but we can update the whole price book, any category in between. So you do have options. So if your price book is really large, and you don't want to do it yourself, we can do it for you, but it has to be consistent by category. Okay, so now that we've got our pricing defaults in place, we have our categories. You can go in and create them and set them up as kind of like your file folder of where you want everything to live. And like I said, with those updates and anything else like that, try to create your categories on how things make sense, like with like. So the installs, all the ductless mini splits are going to be in here. Furnace installs are going to be in here. Heat pumps are going to be in here. So try to keep it like with like, and whether it's a part or whether it's a system, you should kind of keep it like in the same like with like category. I hope that makes sense. Because you're in business and you know your business. So a filter category is where you keep all your filters. And I guess that would make more sense. So now you've got your categories set up. You've got your pricing default set up. So now we can go into the actual price book. And so there are 3 types of price books you can have in our system. So you can have your regular price book, which is this. If you purchased the flat rate price book, Profit Rhino, it'll be in here as well. And then you also have your QuickBooks item list. And see how your QuickBooks item list doesn't show here? The only place your QuickBooks item list would show, and I'm going to probably have about 12 tabs open by the time we get done, so bear with me. If I came into, and this one's open draft, an invoice, and I hit add item, the QuickBooks item list is loaded here. Okay. So if you don't want to use any other price book and you want to use your QuickBooks item list, you can use these and it will look just like what's in QuickBooks. It's mapped to QuickBooks and you're good to go. But we have another option that you can use as well when you create a price book product. So if I hit add product, and let's say if I'm going to create like a single part only. Okay. I could put in a product name or I could search to see if it's already in here. Oops. Hi, Jamie. I don't know if you got popped out or if you're late, but if I'm going to go ahead and keep going and you'll be able to watch the replay to catch the first part of what we did. So if you're searching for a part, I could come in and go capacitor, if I can spell capacitor, and I can see all the different capacitors that are in my price book. Okay. And as you go through the pagination, you can come here and you can start looking. Okay, this has Ferguson EDE as a supplier. So it's an electronic integration with Ferguson in this account. So I could choose one of these that's already in here. Okay, and if I keep going, let's go to last. It will show from Daikin. We have them in here, Daikin as well, and your QuickBooks items should show in here. See how there's 266 pages of capacitors? I'm not going to go through all 266. Take my word for it. Any other price book products, any integrated Daikin or Ferguson that come in here, any supplier that you have in here, and any QuickBooks items you can use for your part. Okay. You can name your part. If it has a product number, you can put an image on it. The image will show in the price book. It won't show on the job form when you add it to an invoice or a proposal. But if you're doing a proposal, there's a place on the proposal that you can hit add image so that when you do good, better, best, you can add the images all the way across, and it will allow one image on that proposal. And one of the options is to choose from the price book image. So if you put an image here as well, you should be good to go. If you want to use it for equipment, if you don't care, it's a capacitor, looks almost like any other capacitor. Um, think about how much time you want to put into it. If it's a system, you may want to put an image. If it's an elbow, you may not want to because you're going to have a bazillion elbows on a job. And it depends on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go with your price book. You can go all the way down to an elbow if you want to, but that's kind of something that you're figuring into your price when you do a repair, so you may not. Okay, remember I talked about the categories. The categories are those file folders. So when you create a product, it has to have a home. And so it lives in a category. And remember, like with like, I can go down and find my 2026 and put it in there in that category. You can put it in multiple categories. So if you want it to live in multiple categories, you can. So you have that option as well. If you're syncing to QuickBooks, it needs an income account. Okay, it needs an income account. It has to have that on there. You can put a description in here. If you put a description, this description is going to show on the job form when you add it as a line item. Remember, I talked about the pricing strategies and how important they were? When I create this capacitor, and it's a single part, these are all going to be set to on, and I can go in and turn them off. They're also figuring the price, but I don't have a price in here yet. So you can do it one of two ways. You can come in and go standard price of $15 and put $2 here. And if you do that, it's going to try to figure the cost times your markup, and then you'll have to go back and change it again. And or you can go in and change your markup to and hit tab, and it will change the price. So depending on how you start, you can go back and forth and change it either way that you like, and it'll tell you your profit margin on the cost of the part, and you can turn it on or off for tax. So now that we've got all that going, there's those additional details. Additional details, when you put a part name, a product name in here and see how it has the asterisk, that means it's a required field. I'm going to call it cap today. I'm going to tab out of that field. It's going to bring that over as a QuickBooks item list. Okay, and when this syncs to QuickBooks, this product, when it's added to a job form and syncs to QuickBooks, you will have a new QuickBooks item named Cap Today. If you do class, you can choose class, and this is where you can choose that manufacturer warranty. So I'm going to choose 30-day part replacement on there. Okay, there's a lot of different things on this that have not been added in here, so that's why this is grayed out. But that is how to create a product with as a single part. Okay, so if you have a labor looks almost the same. You can search to see if there's another labor item in here. Oh, I forgot, you can favorite these here. So if it's something that you want your technicians to use and to come up first because they use it all the time, you can favor it. And on the list view, you can hide them as well. So let's say there's something in Profit Rhino you want them to never use and they keep choosing it. You can hide it. Okay. So product number, image, everything works the same. Income account works the same, and it's labor. So you would have your labor cost and then figure your price for whatever it's going to be. So now that you have a part and you have a labor, you can create a bundle. So if you wanted to create a bundle, you could come in here and search parts, okay? And it's going to bring in all the things, and you can search labor and choose your labor or add a new labor. You have the option to do that here, okay? And if you have bundles added, like from Daikin or Ferguson or integration, the AHI or I are going to show in here as well. Okay, So you can choose run true. Okay. And then you can create the bundle. And then you're going to name the product. Since I chose run true from one of the suppliers, the integrated suppliers, the image is already going to come in. Okay. You name it, you put it in a category, you give it the item name. And if you put the name up here in tab, it'll be the same for the QuickBooks item name unless it's already in use. And then it'll put like, try to put some kind of extension on it to make it unique because the QuickBooks item name has to be unique. So you can't name it the same thing as an item that's already in your QuickBooks. The standard price, the markup, all of that we went through, turning it on. Now these are my bundle components down here. Okay. This is my run true. This is my labor. Okay. You have to choose whether you're going to be doing tax or not, and you're going to have to choose your income account. Okay. If the income account was already on these parts, it would have brought it already in. But since I didn't have it set up, you would have to choose that. Additional details. This is where it gets really interesting because if you have a bundle, and remember we talked about keeping track of smaller items and not keeping track of smaller items and keeping track of larger items. Let's strike that and reverse it. You can come in here and if you sell the same brand every time, you can choose the manufacturer. You can choose the manufacturer warranty. Okay. This item here is very important. So if you're selling a system, a hot water heater, anything that is serialized, and you want this piece of equipment or system to go to the customer's equipment tab in WEX FSM, when you add it to a line item on an invoice, the customer signs for it, they pay for it. This item, if it's marked serialized, will go over to the customer's equipment tab automatically. You don't have to enter it. So this is going to save you a lot of time. And the other thing is when it's serialized like this and you add it to a job form, it's going to leave a section on the invoice for you to enter the serial number so that when this goes over to the customer's equipment tab, you'll have the model number and you'll have the serial number in there. And I'll show you that in just a second. But each item in this bundle, except for labor, is going to have the option to serialize, the manufacturer, and the manufacturer warranty. So I will show you that in just a second. I wanted to show you one other item in the price book. I got to get out of here for the discount. So you have the option to add a discount. So you may have one item in your price book that you use for every discount and you edit it on the fly, or you may be keeping track of your discounts. This is separate from the pricing defaults that you're giving an automatic discount from things from your price book. This would be a one-off that you were giving for maybe something that you advertised and you want to keep track of that discount. You can come in and name it newspaper offer, January newspaper offer, something like that. Put it in your service category. This needs to be a -1 at least for you to save it. If you have -$25 that you use for the same discount over and over again, you can make it -25 and then you can create another discount for one you can use on the fly. Like I said, you may have multiple ones in here, but I wanted to show you that because that ends up the different products that you can add to a job form from the price book. Now, I'm going to scoot over to this job and I'm going to go back over anything red in the system. You can click on it. So if I wanted to go to Jack Dawson, I just click on Jack Dawson, leave my invoice. Okay. Numbers, you can click on red. This is my price book job. So if I came down in here and I created a new invoice, I'm going to hit add item and I'm pretty sure I have a 2026 system in here. So this is my 2-ton heat pump and see how the hearts are here. I could search by favorites. I could search by recently used, but I'm going to choose my heat pump. Okay, I've got my heat pump on here. I have it turned on for savings, and a lot of people, I don't want to give $835 away on my new system because they have a $159 maintenance plan. So I can come up to pricing settings and I can hit standard price and hide maintenance plan price. And you can do standard price show, line item quantities. You can customize how you want your customer to see the items on here. And this is in the build mode. So it's going to look pretty much the same except for take that off there. It's when you go to the present that those other items to be able to hide line item quantities and things show up. So I came in here, I added my 2-ton heat pump. If I want to dress this out a little bit more, I can come in here and update my description. I can say it's a Linux system, 21 SEER. If I didn't put that in the description, I can go ahead and add that in here. I can change my class. I can even change the name on how it shows on here. It's still my same price book item, and it's going to sync to QuickBooks with my same QuickBooks item name. It's just how I want it to see. Well, how I want them to see it on this invoice, if that makes sense. Okay. But because I made this serialized, down here in the job form, I have the place to put, I didn't put my model number and manufacturer on there. I was lazy, but I put my 10-year warranty on here. I can have when the techs or the installers open that box when they're getting ready to do the install, they may not know what the serial number is for the equipment when they get it. And so they're taking a box out there, they want to get paid. If they go ahead and add this to the invoice before they present it to the customer for payment and they sign for it, I'm going to put 56789 for all of these. I think I used 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And see how the manufacturer warranty is what I put on my price book item. Okay. And it's going to show up here. Okay. But my contractor warranty is here. So I can come in here and put a 1-year contract on new installs from my contractor. And remember I said you could add another contractor warranty on here. So let's say you sold them a 10-year labor. You could add that on here and put it in your contractor warranties up here, a 10-year labor warranty on here so that they would know that they had a 10-year labor warranty. Okay. So you can do that. Once I sign this, and I'm going to record a payment. And it's going to be cash today because they're feeling flush. Record the payment. Okay, it's going to take me back to the job. Remember, anything in red, I can click on this system. I'm going to go to Jack Dawson. And now that equipment is going to show up here on the equipment tab. There's 56789. There's my condenser, my air handler, my heat strip. The only thing that you may want to do, come in and do a double check because it's going to put the default date of the invoice as the install date. So if you create the invoice ahead of time, you may have to update this. Okay. Okay, that returns me back to Jack Dawson. Let's see if there's anything else. We did serialized. There's one other thing that I wanted to show you in the system, and we've added this in the last little bit, and it's Pricebook Digital. And Pricebook Digital, if you have a distributor who participates in this, um, they can provide us with system matches with your cost pricing so that we can upload it for you. You would have to tell us what the markup is, that type of thing. And not all distributors in all locations in the United States participate, but if they do, we would load it as a customer, Daikin Northeast, and then you will see all the different types of equipment bundles. Okay. And what this does is, let's go in here. They create templates for you. Now you can create your own templates, from your price book items, you can go in and use your example customer or a test customer and create my 2-ton heat pump system on a proposal and use that all day long to copy because you can come back into this job. Where's that? This job down here that I was playing with. And if I was doing a proposal, I could hit copy and all of my favorites are going to pop up that I saved as templates. And if I don't see it there, I can unclick favorites and I can go looking for it. I can search by the proposal number. Nobody remembers the number, so but it's an option in case you do. Some people numbers stick with them. They don't stick with me. People's names stick with me or locations stick with me so that I can go hunt down the one that I sold to the neighbor. Okay, I might remember him and then I'm giving an estimate to the neighbor. And so I don't want to cause any problems in the neighborhood. I may offer him the same offer if it's the same system and the same amount of work. Okay, but favorites pop up first. So if you don't see it right away, just unclick favorites. But they also create the proposals and they'll create different bundles. So I could take this bundle and I could go in and I could say, okay, I'm going to create a proposal comparison. I could go in and hit copy and I could go to the customer name, unclick and go to Daikin and look for whatever I wanted to copy and bring it into this new customer. I may have to adjust a line or two on the comments. I may want to adjust the price because maybe it's in confined space. I may need to pull in another person to get it in there. So you can always edit it on the fly, but you have the option to copy. And even if you don't have Pricebook Digital, you can create your own templates and copy these all day long so that you don't have to create them over and over again. You may also have younger techs that you may want to allow to start to sell, and you can give them a cookie cutter proposal to use and maybe a checklist to check everything to make sure that it qualifies for that cookie cutter proposal, that somebody doesn't have to come back and do another estimate after. They can copy these all day long. And the way that it starts with having the items in your price book or the systems, especially service, you can get by with using your QuickBooks item list. Profit Rhino is service. And some installs, depending on how well you built out your QuickBooks item list, that may work for you too. So we have several options in the system for you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I've kind of gone over everything and how it fits together as a whole. Do you guys have any questions? You can either unmute yourself or put the questions in the chat, whichever ever you prefer.
So, Lisa, I had a question
Mhm,
going back to when you were dealing with the QuickBook price book.
mhm.
When you go to the search tab and you punch in something you know is in your QuickBooks and not in your price book, um, do you just allocate it and it'll go into your price book?
So
I
are
was
you
trying to
talking
stop
about
you when you were in there.
adding it in your price book, or are you talking about
Yes.
when you use it from the job form?
I'm talking about making it one of my price book items.
Okay, so what it would do is if you search for it and it brings it in here, it's going to name this um, product, and you're going to search for your this is a discount. That doesn't help me. There you go. There you go. So you're going to search for it. And what let's see. I wonder if I can go back in here and find a QuickBooks item. Let me go back up here to, I'm going to create a new proposal and I'm going to go in here and look for an item, add item, QuickBooks item. Okay, so let's see what we've got in here. We've got one called electrical. Okay, let's go in here and go in here. And remember, everything's, here we go. See how it says QuickBooks item list? I can
Right,
pull this. And this is, like I said, it's a test. There's test account. This is in here. So it comes in. I can put it in a category. I'll go find my service and then come in here and I go to additional items and the QuickBooks item name is already there. See, it has the QuickBooks item icon. So that means
right,
it's already going to be named that. Okay. And so when this
right.
goes over, it'll go to that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If
On
you
the
don't have
product,
this little thing in here, then that it's not going to be linked to that.
right, I checked it out when we were on that. If you
Hmm.
could go back to the product information tag.
Hmm.
So the second that I allocate the category that it's in, that'll make it a price book item also. Is that correct?
Yes, and it will live in that price book folder. Yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
and the nice thing is, especially I didn't show you guys with Profit Rhino, and we have a whole course on Profit Rhino as well. But searching by folders, especially if your price book is huge, if you have the same things that you use over and over again and you want to favorite them, that makes it so much easier for the guys. But when they have something like Profit Rhino, let me get up in here and go to Profit Rhino and go to flat rate price book. Good thing about Profit Rhino is it's huge. Bad thing is it's huge. So when you come in and you're looking for something and you go up here and you search capacitor and you're on the mobile or on a job form, it's going to come in with like 200 pages. And so they're going to start scrolling through that and they're going to get frustrated. So the easiest way to do is to go by folder, capacitor start and start assist. And I'm going to do a dual. And like I said, I can either click on the 23 if I want to, or do the drop down. And then I could say, okay, a 25 by 5, that's what I wanted right away. I can find it like in 4 clicks. But if they search 200 and some pages, they're going to be in scroll hell and they're going to get frustrated. So teaching them to search by folder, especially if it's Profit Rhino or if you have a, let's say you went to your supplier and you got a list of everything that you buy. Okay. And I try to tell people not to do this because you don't buy everything from them. There's no way, there's no way that you will ever buy everything from them. So I like to tell people to get an Excel file of the items that they've used maybe in the last 2 years. And usually their supplier can give it to them in an Excel format. You can go to more applications, data center, and ask for a new price book load. And you can give them that supplier catalog. They'll put it in a category for you. You can tell them it'll have your cost on there because the supplier will give you your pricing. You tell them what the markup is, what the labor is on it, if you charge tax or not, and what income account you want it to go through. They'll load it for you and it'll be in a category there for you. Okay. So, but some people get the whole thing, want the whole thing loaded, and then all of a sudden they have this huge price book that it's hard for them for their text to find things in. So they're kind of scrolling around like they do in Profit Rhino and they get lost a little bit. So somebody in the office either has to go in and favorite those, hide the ones that you don't want them to use, or do a little bit of price book manipulation so that they can find what they need to sell to your customers on your job forms. Maybe you have Evergreen, they sold Evergreen motors or something like that. You never sell one of those. You would go in and hide it. Okay, I'm gonna close this chat so that my data people don't think I'm starting something in here. Okay, so did anybody else have any other questions or anything else I can help with? Maybe something that I didn't cover? You can go down. Let me see what tomorrow, while you're seeing if we have any other questions. Oh, there's one new down there. Oh, thank you, Torsten. Okay, let me go see. What is tomorrow is Profit Rhino. So we're going to be going over Profit Rhino tomorrow. So if you guys wanted to come and see that one as well, I kind of gave you guys the abbreviated version today. You could come in here and search for Solution Studio. And I can't type because you guys are watching me. And you would go to the advanced working sessions and learning. It gives you a bit of information about what to expect, what's going on. Click on this, it will open it into a new tab so that you can actually read it and sign up for anything that you want to sign up for. I am going to be out a couple of days later this month, and that's why those are blocked off. And then if you come down, there's also the replays in here. So if someday some of the people were late, usually by tomorrow, Mark will have it uploaded from the one from today so that you can go see maybe what you missed at the beginning of the meeting, and any of the other ones that are in here as well. You can go back and take a peek at. The Solution Studio runs like 20 sessions. It runs for 4 weeks. The first 4 days of the week are walking through a feature and how all the different parts of the software work together to help that feature do what you want it to do. And so that you can get the information out of the system that you need. And then the Friday meeting is an open Q&A. So when you sign up for the Friday meeting, there is a place to put in a question so that we can kind of be ready for what you're going to ask. Maybe I may have to have somebody else on the call as well. I may not be an expert in that field to see what I can find out for you. But if you can put that question in there, that helps us a lot. If not, just pop in and we'll go over whatever we need to go over. A lot of the ones like the sync ones, we have breakout rooms so that let's say you have a sync error and you're trying to resolve some sync errors and you have a bunch of 207 errors. We're kind of going to go over how to find the 207 error, see what you can do to resolve it, and you'll be able to go into the breakout room with a product specialist and they can show you how to fix it, or if we need a support request to fix it, and you can go in individually and share your screen in privacy and show what's going on, and we can work on that to help you. And then next time, enable you that you're in your office and you see a 207 error come up on a payment and you go, oh, I know exactly what to do with that. So this is kind of like teaching you how to fish so that you can feel more comfortable in the system and understand how all the features work together. Okay. And I'm going to throw it out there one more time for any more questions. And if you don't have any, I'm going to let you guys get back to work and I hope to see you in some more sessions. Thank you so much for your time today and have a great rest of your day.